Hello to all my friends and family at Cranford. I actually just started reading a devotional book. It's called 365 Days of Gratitude, Joy in the Morning. And what's remarkable about this is that it was written by only worship pastors and music directors. So I selected one special one for you all today. And it is titled Bloom Where You Are Planted. That person is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season, and whose leaf does not wither. Whatever they do prospers. Psalm 1, verse 3. It was December of 1976, when I was 14, that I attended the first performance I had ever heard of Handel's Messiah. It was also in that same concert that I had a supernatural spiritual encounter with God as He called me into the music and worship ministry. Fast forward 15 years of following that call through high school, college, seminary, and 5 church music positions since age 15, and I had that very powerful type of encounter with God. I had prepared for and even worked as a minister of music for 15 years when God issued His next call to a new church. This time, however, His call was not to a position, but to a people, the people of this church. His calling may have always been that way, but I may not have perceived it as such until then. How different could this be, this calling to a people and not to a position? 30 years later, still in the same church, I may have an answer. When God called me to this people, it was to minister to and through them, to become a part of this family and to walk with them in all phases of life. It was to help nurture their children in the ways of Christ, and then to help nurture their children's children in the ways of Christ. My position has grown and morphed throughout the decades to meet the needs of the people for such a time as this. The benefits of a ministry with a long tenure have proven amazing. I've been able to lead children in choir, to understand the truths of God in worship. I have had the opportunity to help them understand Jesus' calling to their salvation. I have had the opportunity to baptize them, to spend late nights talking about all the big questions in life, to send them off to college, to perform their weddings, to help dedicate their children, and to weep with them as they mourned loved ones. If God had called me to a position, I would have likely changed churches several times in these 30 years. I would have gone to a bigger church, a larger salary, a church with more resources, and likely one which made my name famous. But that's not what God called me to. His ways were much higher. A great mentor of mine, Alan Brown, once said, "To be successful in music ministry, you've got to love people more than you love the music." Love the people more than the music. My prayer for you is to bloom where you are planted and let God show you miraculous things over His time. This is life. This is family. This is God's calling to a people. Now, I picked this devotion for 2 reasons. The first is that this devotional was written by Philip Brown, pastor of Music, Worship, and College Ministries at Huguenot Road Baptist Church in Richmond, Virginia. And that is my church, and Philip Brown is my music director. Secondly, when I read this, I immediately thought of my church family at Cranford. And I know that you all have some changes that are coming this year with the retirement of the wonderful Pastor Hill. But my prayer for you is that you keep worshiping, you keep singing, and you keep blooming. Amen.